So let's move on to the chuck it, football. So leading off here with Jabrill Peppers, former Michigan safety slash cornerback, played for the Browns for a little bit. Now he's on the Patriots, but he's in some trouble. So he was placed on Commissioners Exempt List from domestic violence and drug allegations. The NFL has placed New England Patriots safety Jabrill Peppers on the exempt list while he goes through the legal process following his arrest and charges that he shoved his girlfriend's head into the wall and choked her. Patriots coach Gerard Mayo said that Peppers won't be with the team in the near future. In the near term. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, future term, whatever. He goes on to say any act of domestic violence is unacceptable for us. With that being said, I do think that Jabrill has to go through the system, has to continue to go through due process. We'll see how that works out. Braintree police said they were called to a home for an altercation between two people on Saturday, October 5th, and a woman told them Peppers choked her. Police said they found at the home a clear plastic bag containing a white powder, which later tested positive for cocaine. Peppers was arrested without incident and posted a $2,500 bail. He also pleaded not guilty on Monday, October 7th, in Quincy District Court to charges of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and possession of a Class B substance believed to be cocaine. Peppers' next court date is scheduled for November 22nd. Feel like we're saying this every single show. Mm-hmm. Don't put your hands on people, and lay off the snow.
Right. Yeah. I was just like, another one, because this has become a weekly occurrence on this show, and we like to talk about fun things here.
Right.
But yeah, these players, I'm gonna need them to do better and to keep their hands to themselves. Maybe they all need to go through some training or something. Like, just each team needs to sit their players down in a room and be like, okay, this is how you treat the people that you're with, or just even treat just people in general. Maybe we need to get to that point where, because we have a lot of bad apples right now showing up each week that is making everyone look bad.
Yeah. Now, if you think about it, it should never happen. It's even one person does it. That being said, the NFL has a lot more players than most leagues do. Yeah. Plus, you typically see these type of reports from the NFL and the UFC. Testosterone fueled, going out there playing a sport where you're literally just putting your hands and trying to hurt the other, or tackle or hurt the other person.
Concussions too.
And then performance enhancing, any PEDs they might be on. Cocaine can enhance your brain and stuff like that, so it can enhance on that. I mean, I know one player they've deemed Adderall. They said that he was tested positive. One's cornerback. He was tested positive for Adderall, and they said it was a legal substance. I'm like, okay, that's a first for that. But
you're fucked.
Right. So there's no excuse. You should never do it. But that's just kind of what I see of why you see UFC and NFL or football players being in these type of domestic disputes and hurting other people, putting physical harm on other people. It's because it's kind of just in their DNA, unfortunately, at this point. And then you add in all the PEDs and stuff they might be on. You're a walking volcano.
I would push back a little bit of it. It's kind of in their DNA part. I don't think that's a good phrasing there. I think it's, again, not giving excuses for why, but I think, adding to the nature of the sport, concussions, PEDs, all that can add to making it a higher percentage of violence. But still, I don't think that's part of DNA of a person. I think that's just can be the outcome. But there's like you said, there's so many NFL players. There's plenty of NFL players that are not doing that at all. So I think it's wrong to say that it's in their DNA. I'm going to agree here with Jeremy Miller. Take therapy before you play football and after, especially you have concussions. I think therapy is a good thing. Nice to see Tvshka's beautiful face there too.
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
You're correct, and I was sitting there saying just as far as like I'm saying literally because of all the PEDs and concussions, their DNA is now changed. Maybe I can. Is that a better way to flip it? But yes, but yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, you basically hint to my point, except saying that they're just a walking, ticking time bomb. No, that's not. That's how I'm saying. Like it's in every NFL player, UFC fighter. It's just because of the physicality of the sport, and every rah-rah is like, let's go out there and knock their heads off. Rah-rah speeches, and then you add in the concussions and who knows what PEDs and stuff they're taking to stay at their top physical shape. Like I said, they could be a ticking time bomb in that. But yes, yes, I take it back. There's not in their DNA. They weren't just born just up there and be like, tuna casserole, and then start swinging. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, when you said tuna casserole, that about triggered me. So, no.
Shout out to Bill Burr. That was one of his bits that you talked about.
No, the CTE, PEDs. I mean, the aggression. I mean, those can be factors in kind of building up that aggression. But at the same time, what about the people that don't play in the NFL? Mm-hmm. Why the fuck are they beating on their people? You know what I mean? Part of it's culture for sure. Mm-hmm. And maybe even family dynamics, because I don't know, maybe they came from a home where their dad or their mom beat on the other person, because I've seen it where you have tumultuous relationships on both sides, and there's one that we got some customers that come in, and I feel so sorry for the guy. The guy is in a wheelchair and the wife is absolutely hateful to him. And it's like, I get it. Maybe you're not happy and you're miserable, but that is not your place to take that out on other people, especially your spouse. So for that, that's on the individual, and that is on their lack of self-control and their lack of empathy for other people, and being able to remove themselves from a situation. I mean, we all get heated. We all get in arguments, but you don't raise your hands, maybe unless you have a question. But you don't raise your hand at another person, and you take a step back. Maybe just put yourself in the corner. I know there's situations where they know happened where I lost my cool, and I wish I would have just taken a quick walk instead of saying some choice words that really damage that relationship or friendship. And like, I'm not a violent person. I'm passive. I'm a pacifist at heart and in just nature, but not everybody is, and not everybody grew up in the family that I did. And, so, I mean, I'm spoiled because of that. And we are, others of us are as well that are on screen. But for those that had a hard upbringing, that's not an excuse. Yeah. You've got to figure out a way to work through your trauma, through whatever cultural aspects are bringing you to this point where you think it's okay to hit another fucking person. And for it to be your spouse, for it to be, possibly, your child's mother or, father, it's absolutely uncalled for. And so for those that are in the NFL making that much money, throw the book at them, strip them of their money, put it towards a charity that goes towards providing resources and tools for, domestic abuse victims and those families, and especially those kids, so we can get rid of this fucking curse that we just keep perpetuating each and every generation.
Mm-hmm. And I know it's hard, but there's always something about breaking the cycle too. And there's also always something about realizing you have a problem and trying to fix it before it gets worse. And so I will always shout out those people that we all make mistakes, for human beings, but that can notice that they have a problem and try to fix themselves. I'm not here for the people that are, no, I'm good. And then they're continually to do the same thing over and over again.
Oh, it's their fault. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just because they provoked you or even, caused you to get infuriated? No, that's entirely on you. Nobody is forcing you to do those actions. Fucking bullshit excuses that some of them give.
And then Jeremy here saying, once Goodell is gone, I hope they take domestic and SA more seriously instead of just letting them play because they have talent.
Talent and money. So follow the money, man. Yeah. They sell tickets. We'll give them a slap on the wrist.
But if they gamble, banned.
Oh yeah, no, anyway. You gotta protect You gotta protect the sanctity of the game. Okay, right.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, Yes, I don't, but I think at the end of the day, even if Goodell's gone, I think this is still going to be just an issue going forward, especially if they have talent. Because if the product's not good, then no one's going to watch. Now, I think NFL is at a crazy situation where I think they could put us out there and we slap NFL on it. People are still going to watch in that regard.
I would watch that to watch you two in the NFL. Like I'd actually turn the game on.
Yeah. But so I hope. But I'm with Jeremy though. I hope they're taking it a lot more seriously than giving them like a 4 or 5 game suspension or something like that. I mean, Kareem Hunt's back in the league, back on the Chiefs, who cut him as soon as that video came out. Now, granted, time can heal all as long as they've already vetted him and making sure that Kareem Hunt is on the up and up, like you said. Still no excuse for what he did, but talent wins out in certain situations, but they also, with Kareem Hunt's situation, and Tvshka can kind of go a little bit more because he was a Chief when it happened. I played. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Well done. But just as far as them acting real quick, and like the thing is with the Patriots, they were like, he's not with the team at this point, but he still wants to let due process, which is what I sound like a broken record as I did last week, is because they can put them on exempt list. And that way they're saying that like we're not taking any action. The team's not really saying he's off the team or doing anything, because if it's proven that he's innocent, then they can countersue. And so they're trying to address it without addressing it for money reasons, to not be sued.
The difference between last week and this week, though, is last week he wasn't put on the exempt list, and this week Jabrill Peppers he was. And I think it was probably because of the added fixture of the cocaine. Yeah,
it's the cocaine. As they found basically cocaine, and they're like, it's pretty straightforward. Is it cocaine? It's cocaine. It was in his bloodstream. It's in his bloodstream. Can't do that.
Yeah.
Same thing as when someone tests those piss tests. It's a PED. Cocaine's illegal, much less it is a PED. Most PEDs are illegal that some of these players take. So that's immediately kind of like the gambling thing. Like that's an immediate, you're on the exempt list because of that. And then they let their due process go with that. So good point there, Sol.
Yeah. Now with the Kareem Hunt kind of situation, like you mentioned, I can't remember exactly, what his punishment was and fine, but for the Chiefs organization, they usually kind of stand by their people as long as the person's up front. And that was the thing. Was when they had the meetings before the tape got released and before some of the courts, he said that he was completely innocent and that way was it. And when it came out that he wasn't, they're like, you're out, dude. Like you lied to us, basically. Like if you said, hey, I did do it, all right, let's mitigate this. Then let's get you into some therapy. Let's get ahead of this a little bit. 1, for optics. 2, I hope that the organization themselves just truly care. For the family and the victims, but then also for the aggressor in it. But it has been, good Lord. I mean, what feels like a decade.
It feels like it.
Yeah, it feels like a long time. I forgot he still was kind of around the league, even nearby when they said Kareem Hunt. So
right.
But we're also the Chiefs, man. We're getting a lot of relics of our past coming back. Man.
Yeah.
MVS, let's go, baby. Let's go, MVS. Just got cut. Let's go. But for the Rashee Rice of that situation, I mean, you can kind of tell that's like, all right, like we know it's going to happen. We're not going to do anything until the official court, the last gavel is, struck of, okay, this is what we're going to do. And, sometimes the teams can actually impose a little bit of their own kind of suspension, but any organization, no matter what, they're just going to try to mitigate. They're going to try to mitigate their losses because that is somebody that they invested a lot of money into to perform a task and a job. And so they're going to do what they can to really kind of cover their losses or damages. And whether it's good intentioned or not, that's just how money works, y'all. That's how money works.
Yeah. But Kareem Hunt was not charged. They won't press charges. I don't think anything like that. It was just the videotape was found. And so it was brought to light, but he was suspended for the year. And then obviously the Chiefs cut him, and then he was on the Browns, I think, by the next year.
So it's probably settled out of court then.
Right. But I mean, the video is pretty straightforward. Like it was It's like the Ray Rice situation.
And I'm never going to like talk badly or be like, oh, you shouldn't take the money, because sometimes like when you settle the amount of money, that can really change your life. Or but I do really like, sometimes I wish, I'm like, oh, I hope that they don't take the money in a settlement so this can actually go through the full due process and we can actually get rid of people who are actually doing harm. But I'm never going to knock someone for taking the money, because money does change lives in our capitalistic world.
Mm-hmm.